At 25 moved to Scotland to be with my husband, 23, and I am absolutely miserable. I met my husband in my country, South Africa, in January last year. He just finished studying and took a gap year visiting Africa. He spent the bulk of his time in South Africa. We got married in August this year. I want to go home, guy. I love my husband, he is the nicest person. But I absolutely hate living here. I hate the fact that I'm now a minority, who's from Africa, and all the sizable assumptions that come with that. I'm scared that when we have children they'll grow up hating the colour of their skin, completely unaware of my culture. They'll be a child of an immigrant. We waited until we were married to have sex, and I'm finding adjusting to that so hard. My husband has a much higher sex drive than I do, and I'm finding that I've absolutely no idea what being turned on is supposed to feel like, and struggling with getting comfortable being sexual. It sucks that I'm totally unaware of what feels good. I know I should probably start masturbating, but I'm not sure how to broach that subject with my husband, buying vibrators, etc. I don't want him to feel like he's inadequate, or that this isn't something we can't figure out together. But I don't know how else to get to a place where sex is enjoyable for us both. I feel incredibly homesick, socially isolated, as I haven't been able to make friends as yet. My husband is obviously socially connected, he grew up here, and I feel like I'm becoming incredibly codependent and clingy, and finding it incredibly difficult to speak to anyone because I don't quite get British mannerisms, and I'm terrified of offending people. I haven't told my husband how I'm feeling, because I don't want to make him feel like he needs to deal with my emotional baggage. Moving back to my country isn't a viable option, unfortunately, so I have to stay here. I want to go home in December, as it'll be summer there, but with COVID cases I don't think going home will be possible, and that feels devastating. I just hate living so absolutely much, and I just don't know when if I'll start to like being here, and I'm struggling with how to let my husband know how I'm feeling. I hate living in Scotland, and I'm not sure how to tell my husband. I don't want to say you've been very rash, as what's done is done, but if you weren't already married, I'd have advised coming to Scotland for a trial period 6 months to a year to see how you liked it before making a permanent move. I'm Scottish and love my country, but even I know that Scotland in the winter can be a dark, cold, miserable slog. I imagine if you're used to South African weather, that must be amplified even more. And this year, of course, with coronavirus, it's even worse. I would say, in general, Scottish people are fairly welcoming and friendly, but I think it depends where you're at. A city like Glasgow is more multicultural than some rural areas. You say you don't want to talk to your husband about how you feel, but I think it's essential that you do. He needs to help you settle in, or understand that if that's going to be impossible, you need to come up with a plan or go your separate ways. Is there a reason that he can't live in South Africa? Or perhaps you need to compromise on somewhere else, a city/country that would be new to both of you and you could explore together. The sexual stuff is also important to work through together. If you were a virgin when you married, of course, you need to explore and learn your body and how it works. Hopefully, if he is a good guy, he'll want to support you and help you with that exploration. It will benefit him as well as you. Scottish people sometimes come across as being a bit gruff or standoffish, but in my experience, it's just that we need to get to know people a bit more before we open up. I mean that as a generalisation, as there are plenty of outgoing and friendly people around too. It might just be harder to find them at the moment when you can't socialise as much as usual. If you're keen to stay here with your husband, talk to him, share your worries, and give it time. If you already know it a mistake, don't make yourself a martyr to a bad decision. You rushed into this without trying it out first. If it's wrong, there is no point sticking it out in misery. I'm Scottish, and Scottish winters are tough. Never mind everything else that is going on right now. We recently moved to a new city here, and have been struggling to settle just because of the inability to get out and socialise. I think you should definitely talk to your husband. I do hope you feel settled here in no time. Hopefully once this craziness is over, you will have more opportunities to make your own support. Sir, you didn't mention whether you have a job. That might be a good way to get out and meet people at the moment. Commenting to add that feeling depressed homesick, lonely, etc. will kill your sex drive like nothing else.